Hey guys, it's Jaylon. Welcome back. I'm here today to share with you my update for Paint and Every palette. The inspiration for this, well, my version of this project is Lady Pans a Lot. I was inspired to start this by watching Paula at a Beauty Guru made me do it. And I actually have 3 different sections in this project because I am a little bit crazy when it comes to panning. I actually have 5 palettes that are randomly chosen for me where I select the shade, 3 palettes that are randomly chosen for me where the shade is randomly chosen as well. And then I did introduce at the beginning of this year a palette for Project Level Up, which is a project that was created by Sophie, Alexandra. I will leave her information down below as well as Paula's and Lady Pans a Lot. And I'm currently on level 2. So let me share with you how things are going. Actually, first I'm going to share with you the palettes I'm working on. Now these are all palettes where the shade is chosen by me. I have the Tartlet Flirt palette, the Charlotte Tilbury Easy Smoky Eye palette, the Natasha Denona Mini Lila palette, the BH Cosmetics Absinthe palette, and lastly, I have the ColourPop Fame palette. Now, the palettes that I have that where the shade was randomly chosen for me, I have the BH Cosmetics Weekend Festival palette, the Bare Minerals Bare Sensuals palette, and lastly, I have the Lorac Refined Romance palette. And then finally, for my level 2 project, for my Level Up project, level 2 palette, I have the Bare Minerals Gen Nude Floral Utopia palette. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. All right, so let me share with you how things are going. I do not have any new pans this month. I'm close on one. I think I'm going to go ahead and bring in a palette for it because I'm hoping like 1 or 2 uses will be left, but otherwise I don't have any pans. So let's start with the palettes where I chose the shade. We're going to start with the Tartlet Flirt palette, and I'm working on the shade Playful. It's very powdery in here. Here's the shade here. I do have a nice dip going in this one, and I was kind of hoping that I would have, a deeper pan, or a deeper dip, but I do not. This is going to take forever to hit pan in. It's a nice shade. I actually wore it today in my crease. So there we go. There's the shade. I like the formula, but they take forever. Then from Charlotte Tilbury, I have the Easy Smoky Eye palette. I think I've used this a couple of times in the last month. I'm using this shade here. You can see I do have a dip. I'm hoping these pans the shadow is thin in them because I still have a little less than a gram of shadow, but I'm hoping because it's a longer pan and not a square pan that it won't take me as long to hit pan in. How many times can I say pan? And the other thing is this competes with my Pan That palette with a lot of the shades. Like I didn't wear this today, I should have, but I'm wearing a lot of like neutrals from the Norvina, ABH Norvina palette. I don't know why I'm showing you that again. This is what I'm trying to show you. The swatch. Anyway, there's that one. Now this is the one where I think I'm going to hit pan very soon. It's my Natasha Denona Mini Lila palette, and I'm working on the shade Poison Berry here. You can see I have a really nice dip going there in the center, and Girl Scout cookies. Somebody came into my door with cookies, Girl Scout cookies. A Girl Scout came by with cookies with her mom. So this is the little mini Girl Scout cookie haul. I've already purchased some, but oh my God, she was so cute. So I got the Lemon Ups. I prefer the other ones, but I haven't had these in a long time, so I thought I would try them again. I got a couple of Samoas. I don't think they didn't have any Thin Mints, otherwise I would have gotten a Thin Mint. And then the Trefoils. That was really cute. All right, before I was interrupted with cookies, I was showing you my Natasha Denona palette. So yeah, I do have a nice dip going in this one. I do think it's just going to be a couple of uses before I hit pan in this because I typically use it. I use it quite a bit whenever I do a purple look. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and bring in a palette for this because I think I'm going to hit pan pretty soon. Okay, next we have the BH Cosmetics Absinthe palette. It's this one here. And I'm working on the shade Lucid Dreams. And I also have a dip going in this one. This one may not take that long either. I don't know how deep these pans are because I've never hit pan in a BH Cosmetics palette before. So I'm going to hold off until I actually hit pan in this before rolling a new palette in, unless I've got a super deep pan or dip and it is imminent. At least I don't think I've hit pan in a BH Cosmetics palette. Have I? Oh no, I have. Anyway, I don't think I'm close yet, so I'm gonna hold off on rolling a palette in for that one. The last palette I have in this section is the ColourPop Fame palette, and I'm working on the shade Lifestyle, which is this one here. It's the darkest shade in the palette. I think it's going to be hard to see my dip in this one. I do have a small dip going. It's a bigger dip than I thought it was. It's a nice, deep, dark, matte brown shade. I do really like this. I didn't swatch Lucid. I'll do that here in a minute. There we go. I use this a lot to deepen the outer corner. I forgot to swatch a bunch of shades. What am I doing? Okay. I forgot to swatch the purple Poison Berry and the Natasha Denona palette. That's a really crummy swatch, but there it is. And there's Lucid. Oh, it's so pretty. I love that shade. That beautiful green. So those are all the palettes where I chose the shade. Now for the palettes where the shade was randomly chosen for me. First off, I have the BH Cosmetics Weekend Festival palette, and I got one of the brightest shades in the palette, the shade Dippy. And I mean, I've used this, but you don't need very much of this. It's going to take forever to hit pan in this shade. I love it. It's a beautiful color, but it's going to take forever. There we go. Did I show you my lame-ass dip? I mean, you can see I do have a small dip going, but that's it. I just don't need very much of it. Then I have the Bare Minerals Bare Sensuals palette. I've used this shade one time. Now, I used it recently, and I did like how it ended up looking. So here's the palette. I'm working on this shade Shazam. And yeah, I've used it once. I used it as a base. It's actually a really beautiful shadow. I used it on my lid, and it turned out it looked really pretty. But yeah, I've used it once. I'll eventually get to it. And then lastly, I have the Lorac Refined Romance palette, and I'm working on the dark brown shade in this one. This was the one that was chosen for me, and I do use this in my outer corner as well. And I do have a small dip going in this one, you can see, but we're not there yet. So there's that shade, and there's my current color story. Did I get them all? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I did. Okay. All right, now for my Level Up palette. This is actually going to be decluttered. This was a gift to me from Valerie, and I did talk to her before I've started filming this update. I did ask her what her thoughts were about me potentially decluttering this, because I've used it a couple of times and I don't love it. The color story is really pretty, but this shade here, I don't know why. I cannot make it work. It's also, I don't know if you can tell, but it looks like it's kind of, it's a weird shadow. And hold on, maybe if I dig in here. I mean, that's basically, I just dug in there for, I guess I'll put it here and then I'll take it off. It's just, when I blend it out, it blends out like crapola. Like, I don't know what the deal is, but I cannot make that shadow work. Now, I have been using this one here, and I don't mind this dark brown shade. Of course, I've got other dark browns in this project that I'm trying to work on. And, I mean, these shimmers seem fine, but I don't know. Well, they're a little crumbly. Oh, hold on. Can you see how crumbly that is? I mean, not that that's a terrible thing. So I just used a brush. You can see how patchy that is. This is why I can't use this shade. Yeah, I'm getting rid of it. That just made my decision for me. So we're going to pick 2 palettes today. One is for the Natasha Denona Mini Lila palette, and that's where I chose the shade. And then we're going to pick a new Project Level Up palette for level 2. So let me go to Wheel of Names where I have all of my palettes, and then we will see what we get. Okay, here we go. So the first palette is where I choose the shade. The ABH and Norvina Mini Pro Pigment Palette Volume 1. Obviously, I spelled that pigment wrong. Oh, that's exciting. I actually pulled that into my Palette Love series for this month, so that's awesome. Yay! That's a beautiful palette. And this is my level 2 palette. Ooh. Don't be a Tarte palette. Okay, Lorac Unzipped Desert Sunset. Okay, let me go grab these 2 palettes. I will be right back. All right, so the first palette is the ABH Norvina Mini Pro Pigment Palette Volume 1. And this is what this palette looks like. So I get to pick one of these shades. All right, I'm going to go with this shade here, which is a beautiful, like fuchsia pink, a deeper fuchsia pink shade. Oh, that's beautiful. There we go. There's a shade. Oh, I love it. I think it'll go well with the Norvina palette that I'm already panning for my Pan That palette. And then let's look at the Lorac Unzipped Desert Sunset palette. This is an interesting palette, like the way this opens. Yeah, interesting. All right, here's what this palette looks like. And let's see. So I have to use every shade twice. I'm going to go ahead and swatch this palette on my other arm. We'll see what this palette story looks like. All right, there is the color story. That is gorgeous. So I'm thinking to myself, it's probably going to be the purple and maybe this shade, or because I'm working on browns right now. So that's the one I'm kind of leaning towards. It's those are the 2 shades that are different in this palette than everything else I'm working on. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, that is my current color story. I'm so excited. Okay, so this is going to be fun. Of course, these are also, they're Lorac shadows, so they're very powdery, if you can see. It may not be that difficult. I mean, this is basically an untouched palette. I've used it, I think, twice in my Palette Love series, but that's it. It's really the only time that I've used it. So it's basically brand new. Anyway, that is going to be my update for today. Let me know if any of you have this Bare Minerals Gen Nude Floral Utopia palette and what your thoughts are, if you like it. Anyway, that is going to be it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you're doing well and staying safe. Please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. The palettes where... So let's start with the palettes where the shade was randomly chosen. No, let's start with the palettes. Please hit that... Okay, bye. Wait, no. I need to put these down first. Okay, bye.